Well, happy Monday. It's November 13th. I want to bring you the latest data here in the Austin metro area. Looking at interest rates this Monday, we're still sitting kind of in the mid sevens, a little better than what we saw a few weeks ago when we had touched 8%. But they've come down and kind of sitting, at least for the last week, around 7.5. Most of the products on the market are going to be in the sevens. If you're an investor, we're still seeing interest rates in the eights. And if you get perfect credit and find the right lender, maybe you get a high six. If you're using a specific product, maybe an FHA or a lower year amortized loan, you might get a little below seven. Basically, almost all buyers right now are going to have a seven on their interest rates. Looking down here at the chart, you can see where we hit 8%. Back in kind of mid to late October. But since then, we had kind of a nice little fall. The sentiment is that the Fed may be done raising their rate. We'll see. But that kind of that sent a few more people into the bond market, maybe thinking that was the peak. And so that's driven down the rate a little bit, but we'll have to watch that. Obviously, we're still way up from where we were back in the summer when we were in the high sixes, low sevens. And if you go back into the spring, we were down into the mid sixes. And so we're a full point up from there right now. This is a look at some October data. We're sitting here again around mid-November. So, just starting to see what's happening in November, but looking fully at October. Total sales, this is for the 5-county metro area. The second box is just for the city of Austin. So this is total sales. We're down around 3.8%. Not terrible from this time last year. 2022, that was when we had the most significant fall in value. And a lot of, interest rates were also around 7% this time last year. And so it was really slowing sales down. We're kind of pacing about with that. Pendings are actually up in October, so a little more activity than we had this time last year. New listings were about the same, within about 2%. Withdrawals and expireds not coming off the market quite as hard as they did last year, although we could see that pick up. Average sold price. So right now we're around 561. That's down about 5.8%. The median sold price, we're down to 435,000. That's the one I watch a little more because it doesn't take into account higher priced homes kind of pulling that value up. We're down about 7.5% from this time last year in October. So still seeing some market decline and price per square foot is coming down as well. Days on market, we're sitting over 2 months, 62 days on the market on average for a property, and about 4.3 months of inventory. We're still seeing that climb a little bit. If we look at the city of Austin, sales are down. We're down almost 10% in terms of the city. New listings are a little bit down. Now, we aren't seeing as many come off the market, not quite, but again, I think that number could pick up as we get into November. Average sold price and median sold price were less than 1% difference from this time last year. So the city, again, is holding up a little better. We don't have quite as much new construction or battles with builders like you might see in the suburbs where there's deeper discounts. And also, I think it is probably affecting those who have tighter budgets, which tends to be on the lower price point homes. And that's where you're seeing some more softening, maybe compared to the city, where folks may have better incomes or more stable jobs. And so that's helping keep the price relatively the same, but we are seeing price per square foot, median sold price come down. Days on market, about the same, 60, 62 days, and months of inventory a little longer. So it is taking a little longer to sell. In terms of the metro average, this is the average and sold price. You can see we kind of peak out. This is normal, go up in the spring, kind of hit a peak in the late spring, early summer, and then it starts to come down in price. We're seeing that on both sides. That's what a typical year looks like, is it kind of has this bell curve effect. But the reason you get appreciation is you tend to end the year higher than you started the year. And then that happens again and again. So it's like little bumps up in terms of price. I expect we're going to see this continue to go down through January, maybe early February. And then depending on the market, we'll have to see if we get a spring bounce next spring. I want to show you this chart. This is as of this exact moment. This is number of active versus sold listings. So we've been watching this one. I watch it every week because this is telling me how much inventory is out there and what's the pace of sales. So the blue line is number of solds single family homes per month in this 5-county area. And you can see it's just been going down, down, down in terms of the number of sales. What's been going on with the interest rates? I showed you they've been going up, up, up. So not only do you have that traditional seasonal slowdown, kind of summer through the fall and winter, it normally slows down in terms of number of sales, but then you put extra pressure on buyers with high interest rates, it just takes more buyers out. So what's happening is I'm trying to watch and see if this is going to curve off a little steeper in terms of how many homes are coming off the market, whether they're selling or withdrawing from the market. It's not going down that much. We're sitting at around 10,000, just under 10,800 homes for sale. If I go back to May, which is typically, more inventory, more sellers, we only had 10,300 homes for sale. So we're still up and have been up the second half of the year over the spring months when we had less inventory. And that's part of the reason the price probably did a little better in the spring as well. Finally, I'm going to take you back to this chart. This is our historic sales price trend. This is looking back 4 years. So if I go back to January of 2019, we had a median price of 300,000 flat, bam. And then you can see there's that old bell curve I talked about, but we started running out of inventory. Look at 2020, it never bell curved. It just went up, 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 up in price because we started running out of inventory. And by the time we got to Christmas, we were out. There was almost nothing for sale. And that's when the price just took off in the spring of January 2021. We went up over 100,000 median price in about 4.5, 5 months. And then we had some softening after the summer. Everybody was worn out. But look what happened in the second half of the year. It didn't bell curve down. It went up. Why? Because we ran out of inventory again. And then the price shot up again, another $100,000 from, the low spot, 455. We went up to 550 in less than a year, which is insane. Since then, that was when the interest rates officially started going up with the Fed. And you can see how hard of a fall we had from the peak, over about 110,000 median value in the market. But now look at the chart for this year. Here's the bell curve. It's back. So look at this year, you got the bell curve. This year, you got the bell curve. So it's a little more sluggish than normal for sure. The interest rates are higher. But I think we're going to start seeing kind of what I think is a flattening in the market. We're going to have bell curve years. They're not going to go that much up or down in value. The only thing that's going to change that is a few external factors. Number one, if there's lots of layoffs, lots of jobs that are lost, you're taking more buyers out of the market. People are going to be more conservative, and you will see the price continue to soften if we go into a recession. On the other hand, if the Fed is done raising rates, if we don't end up in a recession, if jobs can kind of hang in there, what's going to happen is the lowering of the interest rates will bring more buyers back out to the table. That may drive a little more demand into the market and either hold the price steady or let it go up a little bit. So that's what we're watching right now. If you're a seller, we're heading into the winter months. It is going to slow down. It slows down every year. And so if you are considering buying or selling right now, let's chat first. I can show you data in your neighborhood in the market, see what makes sense. If you're on the market, just know you're either going to need to be more patient or more aggressive to get the buyer because there's not going to be as many buyers in the market at this time until we start getting the New Year's resolution buyers that start coming out again mid to late January. If you're a buyer right now, the story is pretty much the same. The good news is you saw that the interest rate came down about 0.5% from a few weeks ago. So that's some good news. We're hearing, a little bit of, it's amazing when you go high and then you come back to 7.5, people start to be optimistic again. But I'm definitely seeing buyers at least happy knowing it's not still screaming up towards 8%. And of course, know that you have an opportunity to negotiate on a property between now and the beginning of the year. Don't know what next spring's going to look like because too much is still up in the air. But I would say based on historical trends, when does the price go up? The spring, the spring, the spring, the spring, the spring. I think that's pretty good even with the pandemic. So just take that into consideration. That does not mean the price is going to be higher than it is right now in the spring because we may still go down in median price between now and February, and then it's coming back off that price. You can see here the summer last year and late summer last year, you had to lose value first before it could come back up. So we'll keep an eye on that. I hope all this data is helpful. If you want to follow all of these videos, make sure to tune in to @RyanKellyGroup on YouTube. We will post these videos each and every Monday, and you can go back and watch all of our videos there. If you know anybody looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in Austin, we'd love the opportunity to talk with them and share more data and help them make a great decision. Until then, my favorite week of the year is next week, Thanksgiving. I will be bringing you a video on Monday, and then I'm checking out. So hopefully you enjoy a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.